There was a time when Christmas magic didn't come from screens or apps. It came from the moment Santa Claus stepped off the elevator of a department store. If you grew up in the 50s, 60s, or 70s, you remember the excitement, the crowds, the smell of pine and perfume, and the feeling that Christmas had finally, truly begun. Today, we're going back to that magical moment. Back then, department stores were the heart of Christmas. Kids didn't wait for notifications on their phones. They waited for the big newspaper announcement. Santa will arrive this Saturday at noon. It was an event. Parents bundled up their children in scarves and mittens. The streets were bustling with shoppers carrying brightly colored paper bags, their faces rosy from the cold. And the store windows. They were a spectacle. They glowed with elaborate, moving displays, miniature trains chugging through snowy villages, animatronic elves hammering tiny toys, and lights that danced and twinkled. Once you stepped inside the store, you could feel the electricity in the air. This wasn't just another shopping trip. It was a pilgrimage. Christmas music, the classic stuff, not just pop hits, filled every floor. You'd hear bells jingling from the toy department, a constant reminder of what was at stake. The escalators hummed and squeaked, carrying families up and down through a wonderland of holiday goods. And the smell. Oh, the smell. It was a unique blend that's impossible to replicate. It was a mix of real pine garlands draped over the railings, the sharp scent of cologne, samples being sprayed at the cosmetics counter, the sweet aroma of caramel popcorn from a cart near the entrance, and the damp, comforting smell of the wool coats everyone wore. It was the scent of the season, a sensory snapshot that kids today in our climate-controlled malls will never experience. Then, as the designated hour approached, a hush would fall over the crowd. Everything got quiet for a moment. Santa was on his way. Every head in the store turned toward the main bank of elevators, the doors of which were often decorated with tinsel and giant, sparkly ornaments. Kids stood on their tiptoes, holding their breath, their little hands clutching their parents' coats. Then you'd hear it. Ding. A collective gasp. The doors would slide open, and out he stepped, Santa Claus, waving, smiling, his laughter booming through the cavernous space. This wasn't just some teenager in a cheap costume. This was the town Santa, often the same man year after year. A figure with a genuine white beard and a twinkle in his eye that made you believe. Some stores went all out, turning his arrival into a full-blown parade. You might see a small marching band, costumed elves handing out treats, toy soldiers standing at attention, and sometimes even real reindeer brought in from local farms, their breath fogging in the winter air. Children would rush forward, their eyes wide with wonder, hearts pounding in their chests. For many, this was the most magical moment of the entire year, more exciting than even Christmas morning itself. And then came the ritual of the visit. The line to meet Santa was legendary. Bit would wrap around clothing racks, past the gift trapping counter, and snake through aisles filled with winter coats and formal dresses. But no one really complained. Waiting was part of the experience, part of the memory. Kids in line would nervously rehearse what they were going to ask for. Parents would adjust sweaters, smooth down cowlicks, and get the Polaroid camera ready. There was a sense of shared anticipation. When it was finally your turn, Santa listened. He really listened to every child's whispered wish. There was no rush, no digital cue telling you your time was up. It was just you, Santa, and that moment of pure, unadulterated belief. It was about time, patience, and warmth. And when the visit was over, you didn't leave empty-handed. Each kid got a small token, a red, white striped candy cane, a festive sticker, a tiny cardboard toy, or a Santa-S helper badge that you'd wear proudly for the rest of the day. These were small things, but they were unforgettable. Today, Christmas feels different. Children still meet Santa, of course, but it's often in a sterile mall photo booth or a scheduled video chat. The spectacle, the community, the sensory overload of it all that's what is faded. The magic of the lights, the distinct smell, the hum of the crowd. The music echoing between escalators, that's something today's kids will never truly understand in the same way. Those old department stores weren't just places to shop. They were community theaters where the Christmas story came to life. They were places where memories were made, places where Christmas felt real. If you ever stood in that line, if you ever felt that thrill as the elevator doors opened, you know exactly what that joy felt like. Share your memories with us in the comments below. Tell us which department store Santa appeared at in your town. We'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And turn on those notifications so you won't miss our next nostalgic journey into America's past.